Hi, everybody. Welcome. This is the Lunar Path experience, and I am going to lead us all through a 30-day journey, essentially, through this next coming lunar cycle. So I wanted to share why I want to do this and why I'm going to do this, because I want to create the experience and hold the space for us all to have a more embodied experience of this next cycle, essentially of our own life, of our own journey, to get more present with what is going on, what is coming up, where you currently are in your own process, so that you can make the most of it, so that you can optimize, so that you can actually have a beneficial, transformative experience that you are in co-creation with, that you are creating the life experience that you want to have, and that you are loving your journey throughout the way. Now, I know we're all living these lives that are often challenging, of course, but I have found my experience with astrology, being aware of cycles, learning how to follow cycles, understanding cycles, and then witnessing and experiencing how cycles are playing out within my own being, how I am moving through my own cyclical process, that my psyche is going through its own evolution, that it has been so powerful and rewarding as a tool to be able to sort of anchor and offer support, and to also center myself in, because I often say this too shall pass. And whatever we're going through, whether it's a high or a low, there is always that reality that this too shall pass, because we are going through these experiences. We are flowing through our life, right? And so when we look at it like this, when we start to attune and become aware of the cyclical process and find value in that, it starts to be a powerful guide for where we're at, to be able to understand more deeply and to essentially be able to process and also work with where we're at, by understanding that, oh, we're coming to a new moon. How can I work with that energy? We're coming to a full moon. There's quarter moons happening, or there's eclipses happening, which are going to come in March. And so what does this mean? And how am I essentially going to be feeling it? How is it going to be moving me? And how can I work with that? So this is what I am going to be holding the space for us over this next month. So I'm going to be coming into this space every couple days and helping to anchor us back into where we currently are. And so where to begin now today? I think we are currently in the last day of the lunar cycle, and this is a very potent and powerful day. So because it's the end, we are in an ultimate culmination. We are closing a cycle and essentially preparing to enter a new one. So when we allow ourselves to reflect on our life in this way, and also to sort of align our life in this way, we can work with that. We can make this day be a day where we are mindful and we are present with that. We are in a process that is an ultimate culmination. We are metabolizing all that we have experienced over the past month, and we are getting ready to begin a new set, a reset tomorrow. And there is an energetic to this experience, right? The moon has its process with our earth and with the sun. And so the moon returns to the closest it gets to the sun each month on the new moon. And then it begins a journey of moving further and further away from the sun until it gets the furthest away it will ever be from the sun, which is on the full moon. So we have the sun, then we have the earth, then we have the moon. When there's a full moon, the earth is completely in between the sun and the moon at that time of the full moon. And then the moon starts gradually moving back towards the new moon till it gets the closest. Then it becomes the sun, the moon, and the earth on the other side. And so that process, we can feel that energetic, and we can attune to it as a cyclical process that we are also a part of and involved in. So we are currently in that last day stage where the moon has returned back to the sun, and tomorrow it will be in that perfect alignment of the new reset. But today it is in the dark moon day. And what is so interesting and magical to contemplate with the dark moon day, the last day of the cycle, is that the last day of the cycle always returns us to the place that it began on the new moon. So whatever sign the new moon is in, on the new moon, let's just say that's day one, the new moon and the sun are aligned in the same sign. So this past cycle we've come through as the Capricorn. So on the new moon, it's a Capricorn new moon. It cycles through the entire 28, 29 day cycle, then comes back to Capricorn on the last days. So it returns to where it began. And then on the next new moon, it goes up a layer, up a level, right? It's like the spiral journey. It's going around. It returns to the place it began, and then it moves up to the next level. So that essentially is what is going on in our own psyche, in our own being, that we just went through our own process of growth and evolution, and whatever we confronted, whatever we became aware of in our consciousness from out of the unconscious, from out of the subconscious realms of ourself, like what came to the surface for you, what presented itself, what was more magnified or had more of a trigger for you this month, or what was more activated in your life during this past month, because that is what has been the focus of your growth. That has been the focus of your evolution and your awareness during this past month. So now we've returned to the Capricorn. We get sort of one last essence of quality, but now we have returned to it from a higher state of becoming, from having experienced a whole life journey in this past month. So we are now wiser. We're older, essentially. We've grown up in this past month in some way. And so today we close this cycle on the dark moon. And part of my process is that to be in a state of awareness, to be in a state of gratitude, to be in a state of acknowledgement, and to be in a state of honoring that we are in fact growing, that we are in fact becoming aware and more conscious, and that we are also going through our challenges. We're meeting challenges. We are confronting ourselves. We're confronting our own limitations. We're confronting our own shadow, our patterns. And sometimes we overcome in huge ways. We have huge milestone breakthroughs in our reality that happens, and that's becomes a very pivotal moment, a pivotal month in our life journey, or a pivotal year in our life journey, in the timeline of our life when that happens. And other times we're going through something for weeks, for months, for decades in our growth process, and it sort of keeps coming around, and we're moving through it, and we're moving through our challenges. And we're moving through how we are gathering more capacity. We're gathering more of our own creative potential through time and space. So when we look at life in this way, and when we sort of track the journey through following the lunar cycle, and then the more you understand it and the more you are into it, then we can track larger cycles, greater cycles, which are the planetary cycles, which are reflected in our own psyche, the cycles of Saturn, the cycles of Uranus, the cycles of Neptune, Pluto, etc., in our own psyche, in our own awareness, and how are they evolving through time and space based on our own experience. So that is what I'm doing. That is what we're doing here. And so we start at the first sort of level, which is the lunar cycle. It's the easiest to understand, but it contains everything. So there's so much complexity in it the more you go into it, which reveals all the cycles in their whole. So as I was saying, part of my work with this, using this work like this as a lunar path experience and a cyclical journey, paying attention to cycles, using cycles as a process and experience, being able to recognize the challenges, the obstacles, the patterns, and then also taking significant time to reflect upon where you have succeeded, what you have accomplished, what are your wins, what are you celebrating through each cycle? So it's good to do this on the daily. What did we achieve today? What can we celebrate today? What are we thankful for today? Because, and there are also always the challenges, right? But a lot of time we get really pulled into the challenges, and they can even oversee the what we want to celebrate, what we have achieved, what we have accomplished, what we have manifested, where we have grown. And so it's very important to cultivate this space, especially when we are recognizing that we are in a continual process of growth and our rites of passage, that we are indeed being initiated through our own soul journey, that we are being initiated through our own patterns. Essentially, we recognize where we are stuck or trapped or challenged, and we seek to overcome these challenges, and then we do through time, right? So these are the rites of passages, and these are the initiations that our lives are leading us through. So we can pay attention each month to see where are we being led, what is coming up. So that is what we do, and we pay attention to what is actually on your heart, on your mind, on your psyche now. What have you just come through? What was it that you confronted? What came through? Maybe it's something that's been lingering through time over months. Maybe it's issues in relationships, or issues in work, or issues with money, or issues with health, or all of the things. And so where are you now in relationship and in regard to it? Because we are closing the cycle now. So today is an optimal day to spend some time to really recognize what this past cycle has been about for you, where you are at in regards to it, what you have succeeded with, what you can celebrate as far as your journey that you accomplished, and what are you still working through? What do you feel is challenging you, or that you are still trying to overcome? Because we will move into the new cycle, and that's what will come. That's what will come and present with it. And so on this day today, it is the closing day. It is the last day of the cycle. It is the ultimate yin. It is the ultimate feminine day, where we are in the darkest. We are in the depths of the deep unconscious. And in that space, there's a lot happening in the unconscious realms. There's a lot of integration through what we've just experienced, through the seeds that we planted, through what was birthed, through what came through the experiences that we had, the confrontations, the lessons, what we learned, what presented. And so today is a day that is all sort of deepening as we get ready for the tomorrow event, where it is new seed. The moon now then has returned to the sun tomorrow. It has this reunion, this meeting with this powerful solar force. The sun and the moon are a team, right? They are the reflection of the inner and outer. And so the moon creating this goes to the sun and takes all this unconscious that we are, this depth of the unknown, brings it to the meeting with the sun and seeds in some intentions, some creative force, and then the moon takes it from the sun and goes on this now waxing, building, creation, yang stage over the next 2 weeks of the waxing moon. It starts to create and build and build and build until we get to the full moon. More awareness from out of the unconscious comes through. And so when we work with that process, when we at least know it's happening, we can now journey into the next cycle, knowing that we are entering the waxing phase. The next 2 weeks, starting tomorrow, will bring us into a building, creation, external, energized place that we are being pulled from out of unconscious into awareness. And so on the full moon, something will come through. Awareness is going to build in yourself over the next 2 weeks, and something will be made of it. I love the analogy of the garden. I've used it often, where now it is the dark moon. We plant seeds in the dark, and we don't see them. And what is contained in a seed, we don't see, right? The oak tree is in the seed, but we don't see the oak tree. And then we plant that seed in the dark under the earth. And that is the unconscious. So that is what is going on within us. There's a lot going on deeply within. Often we can experience these dark moon days. They can feel intense sometimes. And intense doesn't mean negative or positive. Intensity can be intensely challenging. It can also be intensely amazing. So that's a personal experience that can vary. But the dark moon days can often feel like a full moon, or like a new moon, or like a quarter moon. So if you've been in my world, I talk about this a lot. Like, these are portal moments. We are in the portal of the dark moon right now. And so here we are. There is a potency to this day. There is a dark seed that has been planted, and it is starting to incubate in there from all that you've gone through over the past month. And then tomorrow, on that new moon, you can use the day to be more intentional. Today is about being in the stillness, allowing the metabolizing of all that's been just sort of do its thing, to try to, without necessarily doing anything, but try to be in a receptive place of, what did I learn? What am I more aware of? What can I be in celebration of over this past month? Because that is going to be fuel and nutrients that you take into the next cycle. And then tomorrow, that seed, some new essence is now going to be incubating in that dark space. And over the days of the building, the waxing, that crescent becomes more light and more light and more light, like the seed starts to break through. And we see it sprouting, and we see a stem, and then we see something fully bloom and blossom on the full moon. And then that blossoming, that full fruition, then starts to shift into its own waning and returning back stage. So thank you for joining me. I am so excited to be in this space with you all. And for all of you who are planning to participate, this is your process as much as you want to contribute and be present and share your experience. I invite you to show up and share. And the more you sort of share and um, engage and sort of take action in this place, I feel the more you will receive and get from it when we actively move our bodies into action and help to create that embodied experience. We can receive more. But also, you are welcome to just experience the space also to your own comfort level as much as you want to share and engage. But you can also use the space as a place to sort of journal and track where you're at now, where you're at on the new moon, what comes up through the first quarter moon, then the full moon, and so on. And then you can, at the end of the journey, you can look back and be able to see the progressive journey that you've gone through. And it can be a place to help you remember, or you can do that in your own personal journal and in a way that you want to keep track of what's going on. But I definitely recommend that you keep track, you jot some things down about what is coming up, what experiences with people, with whatever is happening in your life, and then sort of watch and witness what else comes through as we attune ourselves more with each stage as we move through with the lunar cycle and the other cosmic cycles that I'll be bringing in as we meet with them. And tomorrow, I will be coming in and leading us through a short new moon ceremony. So I'm excited to do that. And I look forward to connecting with you. I hope you're all doing well. I'll see you soon. Aloha.